What is up, guys? Welcome back to Psych Bro. Today we're continuing our deep dive into Cambridge IGCSE Psychology 0266, Chapter 2. Last time we talked about biological rhythms and sleep cycles, but today we're tackling the big question: why do we actually sleep? We're going to cover the restoration theory of sleep. Grab your notes, and let's get into it. The restoration theory proposes a pretty straightforward idea. Sleep's primary function is to repair and restore both your brain and your body. During the day, you're burning energy and breaking down cells. During sleep, your body goes into maintenance mode, carrying out muscle repair, tissue growth, and strengthening your immune system. But it's not just physical. Your brain uses sleep to process emotions, consolidate what you've learned, and strengthen your memories. If you don't get adequate sleep, everything takes a hit. Your cognitive efficiency, emotional regulation, and physical health all decline. Both REM and NREM sleep are absolutely essential here, but they serve completely different restorative roles. Let's break them down. First up, NREM sleep, or non-rapid eye movement. Think of NREM as your physical restoration phase. Your body conserves energy during this time, allowing for physical recovery before you wake up. Growth hormone is released here, which supports muscle growth and tissue repair. On top of that, your immune system becomes a lot more effective, helping to prevent illness and infection. But NREM also helps the brain. Specifically, it supports declarative memory consolidation. That means facts and knowledge. So when you're studying for an exam, NREM sleep is when that information gets transferred from your short-term to your long-term memory, improving your recall. It also contributes to basic cognitive recovery, restoring your attention and alertness for the next day. Then we have REM sleep, or rapid eye movement. If NREM is the body's mechanic, REM is the mind's therapist. REM sleep plays a much larger role in psychological and emotional restoration. Your brain is highly active during REM, and neural reorganization is occurring. While NREM helps with facts, REM supports procedural memory, which is about skills and tasks, like learning to play the guitar or riding a bike. It takes new information and integrates it with your existing knowledge, which actually enhances your problem-solving abilities and your creativity. Crucially, REM sleep is strongly associated with emotional processing. The vivid dreaming you do during REM is believed to help regulate your emotional responses. Getting adequate REM sleep contributes massively to mental health stability and reduces your overall stress. Speaking of emotions, we've got to talk about the amygdala. This is the part of your brain that regulates emotional responses, and it is closely linked to REM sleep. REM sleep actually allows the amygdala to process the emotional experiences you had during the day. This is why, after a good night of REM sleep, stressful or upsetting events from the day before often feel way less intense. But when your sleep is disrupted, your amygdala function becomes less effective. Poor sleep increases your emotional reactivity, your irritability, and reduces your stress tolerance. That perfectly explains why tired individuals might feel impatient, overwhelmed, or more likely to just snap at someone. So, what are the overall effects of reduced sleep? Well, lack of sleep leads to confusion, irritability, and impaired emotional control. Your cognitive functions, like decision-making, attention, and risk assessment, all decline. Your emotional regulation weakens, which pumps up your stress and anxiety. Ultimately, brain efficiency decreases, which fully supports the theory's core idea that sleep restores optimal functioning. Now, the amount of sleep we need, and its structure, changes significantly as we age. Starting with newborns. They typically sleep 16 to 18 hours a day, with very frequent sleep-wake cycles. Infants also have a much higher proportion of REM sleep, around 50%, and even up to 75% in premature babies. This high amount of REM in infancy supports massive brain growth, neural development, and cognitive formation. By early childhood, around 3 to 5 years old, sleep becomes more consolidated, meaning less daytime napping. When we hit the teenage years, things get interesting. Teenagers actually need more sleep than adults, but they often get less because of a shift in their circadian rhythm. Adolescents' biological clocks shift later, causing delayed sleep onset, meaning they fall asleep later, and morning tiredness. Chronic sleep deprivation in teenagers is a huge issue because it negatively affects their learning, mood, and decision-making. Finally, in older adulthood, the total sleep duration stays about the same, but the sleep becomes much more fragmented. Older adults experience more waking up during the night, less REM sleep, and an increase in daytime naps. This reduced REM sleep might actually help explain memory difficulties and reduced restoration in old age. To back this up, let's look at a key piece of research, Robinson et al., 2008. They investigated how just one night of reduced sleep affects cognitive functioning and decision-making in adolescents. Their aim was to examine the short-term impact of sleep restriction on brain activity, risk-taking behavior, and decision accuracy. The participants were 18 healthy adolescents aged 13 to 15 years old. This included both males and females, and the group was made up of European American and African American teens. Importantly, none of them had any reported sleep disorders, ensuring that any sleep effects observed weren't just due to pre-existing conditions. They used a repeated measures design. This means the exact same participants experienced both sleep conditions, which controls for individual differences and increases internal validity. The two sleep conditions were a normal sleep condition, getting at least 8 hours of sleep on a Friday night, a restricted sleep condition, getting only 4 hours of sleep on a different Friday night. The order was controlled by testing on separate weekends. For the sleep measurement, participants wore actigraphs, which are wrist-worn devices, to objectively record their sleep duration and wake times. This gave the researchers reliable behavioral data rather than just relying on subjective self-reports. Here was the procedure. The participants slept at home, which maintained ecological validity. Then, on Saturday mornings, they went to the laboratory. They underwent a brain scan to assess their neural activity and completed 2 computer-based behavioral tasks. Also, naps and caffeine were completely avoided throughout both test periods to control those confounding variables. Those 2 behavioral tasks were, first, a balloon-blowing task to measure their risk-taking behavior. Second, a decision-making task to assess their accuracy and judgment. So, what were the results? On the neuropsychological side, the brain imaging showed greater efficiency in several brain regions, including the amygdala, after normal sleep. But after sleep restriction, they saw reduced neural efficiency, indicating poorer cognitive processing. On the behavioral side, after restricted sleep, the participants showed increased risk-taking. Their decision-making also became less accurate, suggesting impaired executive functioning. The conclusion here is clear. Even one single night of sleep loss negatively affects brain functioning and cognitive performance. These findings highlight the role of sleep in restoring neural efficiency and supporting adaptive decision-making. It provides strong experimental evidence that adequate sleep is absolutely essential for healthy cognitive and emotional regulation in teens. So, let's evaluate this. What are the strengths of the restoration theory? Well, there is solid research evidence showing that sleep improves brain efficiency, and that reduced sleep impairs decision-making and emotional control. The Robinson et al. Study directly demonstrates that sleep restores cognitive performance. Also, the changes we see in REM and NREM sleep across the lifespan perfectly align with our developmental needs. But it does have some criticisms and limitations. The main one is that some physical restoration actually occurs during waking rest. Muscle repair and cognitive recovery can happen while you are awake but just inactive. This challenges the idea that sleep is the only time restoration occurs. However, the evidence still suggests that sleep is far more effective than just resting while awake. Finally, how do we apply the restoration theory in the real world? Well, sleep is incredibly critical in high-stress occupations, such as nursing. Nurses require sleep to restore their physical strength, their emotional balance, and their cognitive accuracy. Because of this, shift patterns really need to allow for adequate recovery time. By applying the restoration theory to workplace schedules, we can significantly reduce errors, stress, and burnout. And that's a wrap on the restoration theory, bro. If this breakdown helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe to Psych Bro for more straightforward psychology hacks. Take care of your brain, get some sleep, and I'll see you in the next one.